The world expected a moment of reprieve after a major ceasefire was declared. But within hours of the announcement, the exact opposite happened. In a single 10-minute window, 50 Israeli fighter jets crossed into Lebanon and dropped over 150 bombs. It was a concentrated, high-velocity strike across the entire country. This is the result: a massive column of dark smoke rising over Beirut. The Israeli Defense Forces confirmed this was the single largest wave of attacks they have launched since the beginning of the war. On the ground, streets and residential areas are buried under concrete. Lebanon operates without a national air defense system to stop these sorties, and with roads now blocked by wreckage, ambulances are physically unable to reach the wounded. The Red Cross reports that over 100 people were killed in the first hour. 300 more were hospitalized, with emergency crews warning that hundreds are still trapped beneath the debris of collapsed apartment blocks. This escalation wasn't a slow breakdown of peace. It was a self-admitted maximum-scale assault executed at the precise moment a ceasefire was supposed to take effect. The Israeli military maintains a specific justification for this timing. They state the targets were restricted to Hezbollah headquarters, vehicle depots, and hidden missile launchers. However, the volume of ordnance, 150 bombs hitting over 100 locations in 10 minutes, surpasses the typical requirements of surgical neutralization. This strategy is overseen by Prime Minister Netanyahu. Domestically, his political standing is tied to his role as a wartime leader, a position that effectively pauses the domestic legal proceedings and corruption trials that could lead to a prison sentence. By utilizing the exclusion of Lebanon from the current peace talks, Netanyahu creates a path to continue active combat operations. The devastation in Beirut ensures the conflict remains live, effectively preventing the regional cooling that the ceasefire was intended to create. The ability to launch these strikes stems from the specific geography of the agreement. Israel signed a ceasefire that applies to Iran, but the treaty's text excludes the territory of Lebanon. This created an immediate friction point. Before the deal, Iran warned that continued strikes on Lebanon would be viewed as a breach of the spirit of the truce, triggering their own retaliation. As this diagram shows, Israel can strike Lebanon without technically violating the written contract with Iran. However, the move forces Iran's hand. If Iran fires back, Israel can frame the event as a unilateral Iranian violation, shifting diplomatic blame onto Tehran. The bombardment of Beirut functions as a mechanism to exploit this loophole, using Lebanese territory as the catalyst to draw Iran back into a direct confrontation. While the jets are visible over Lebanon, a secondary, covert conflict is hitting regional energy infrastructure. This is an Iranian oil facility, similar to the one on Lavan Island that was recently struck by drones. Reports suggest the attack originated from the UAE, carried out by groups linked to Israeli intelligence. The reaction was nearly instantaneous. Within 2 hours, retaliatory drone strikes were reported across Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Bahrain, and Kuwait. Because no nation has claimed these strikes, it has created an environment of regional paranoia and economic uncertainty. Whether it is a 10-minute air raid or a drone strike on a refinery, the tactical goal remains the same: apply enough pressure to force the adversary to be the one who officially breaks the peace. As the ceasefire nears a total collapse, the United States is shifting its strategy. Donald Trump has proposed a 50% tariff on any nation that provides weapons or military aid to Iran. This moves the U.S. response from military threats to economic leverage, attempting to isolate Iran's war machine by making its international partnerships financially ruinous. This economic pressure is supported by a realignment in regional security, as confirmed by Pete Hegseth. Hegseth publicly thanked the UAE, Bahrain, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and Kuwait, stating they have been working shoulder to shoulder with the US and Israel to protect shared facilities and interests. This public admission of a unified Arab-Israeli-US front leaves Iran diplomatically distanced from its neighbors. Netanyahu has utilized a mix of air power and covert sabotage to construct a high-stakes geopolitical trap. Now, the region waits to see if Iran will react to the provocation and end the ceasefire itself.